everyone, and welcome to Museums Under the Spotlight. I am Alina Dima, your host, and today, by using an imaginary time machine, we will discover more than 2,000 years of history. We will get a deeper insight into the history of the Romanian people, and I know just the perfect place to do that. The National Museum of Romanian History, located in the heart of Bucharest, is one of the top museums one can think of visiting in the capital of Romania. The amplitude of its collections and the worth of the exhibits definitely recommend it as such. So follow me as we discover all the hidden stories of the Romanian History Museum.
With a surface of over 8,000 square meters, the permanent displays of the History Museum include the plaster cast of the entirety of Trajan's column, the lapidarium, the Romanian crown jewels, and the Pietroasele treasure. Every year, the museum organizes temporary exhibitions also, with different historical themes from all around the world, together with travel exhibitions across Romania and abroad. The collection of the museum comprises an overall of 8,000 pieces, including important historical documents and artifacts covering almost 6,000 years of human activity in the territory of Romania, from Stone and Bronze Age to the Dacian Roman period, Middle Ages, and modern times.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as previously mentioned, today we are going to take a walk through the history of the Romanian people, and this is why we are here at the Museum of the National History of Romania, together with the museum director, and we're going to talk about the magnificent and impressive history of Romania. Hello, and thank you so much for having us here today.
Hello, everybody. I am delighted to be your guide in a virtual visit to the National History Museum of Romania. The National History Museum of Romania is not only the largest museum in our country, but it's one of the major museums in Central and Southeastern Europe. The museum has a quite long history, being the successor of different national museums, starting with the first one, the National Museum of Principality of Wallachia, established in 1834, and the National Antiquities Museum, established in the United Romania in 1864. Actually, the National History Museum of Romania was established in 1986 and is sheltered in a historical building, one of the major constructions in Romania, the ancient main post office in Bucharest.
It is a large building constructed between 1894 and 1899, and it was converted into the National History Museum in 1971. The museum opened its doors in May 1972.
About the building and the actual building of the museum and the particularities regarding it, I would want to know what the architectural style is and who was the main contributor when it comes to the blueprints of the construction.
The building was designed by one of the famous 19th century and early 20th century Romanian architects, Alexander Săvulescu. And it's a building designed in a neoclassical style, typical for the second half of 19th century Bucharest. It was inspired mostly by the French architecture, but in this peculiar case, the building was inspired by the main post office in Switzerland, in Geneva. At that time, end of 19th century, this building was the largest building designed and constructed by Romanian architects and constructors, and it was the most expensive ever built in Romania until 1950. general cost of the building was 6 million francs or lei in gold, because before the First War, the Romanian leu and the French, Swiss, Belgian, let's say, francs were the same.
Built in an eclectic style, the building is rectangular with a large port on a higher basement and 3 upper floors. The stone facade features a portico supported by 10 Doric columns and a platform consisting of 12 steps spanning the length of the building. There are also many allegorical sculptural decorative details. The building went through some critical times in its existence, facing several earthquakes and resisting also during the revolution in 1989. During the major earthquake in 1940, a big part of the building's inner structure collapsed, and many of the sculptures embellishing the facade were also lost during the quake. Another big earthquake in 1977 produced serious damages, and an important part of the permanent collection was lost.
The most valuable part of our collection is represented by the items in gold, silver and platinum and precious stones, which are on permanent display in the exhibition of the historical treasure. And being here, behind me, we have the only complete copy of the Column of Trajan, which is accessible for the public, and that is a very important historical document regarding the early days of the birth of the Romanian people and his language.
Well, Romania does have a millennia-old history, and our ancestry is really an exceptional one. We are talking about our ancestors, the Dacians, and about the Dacian-Roman wars, and this is how history tells us that the Romanian people actually emerged. So let's talk about the symbol that the Column of Trajan represents for our country.
The Column of Trajan is a unique ancient monument, and for us it's extremely important because it's an illustrated story, of course, view from the Roman point of view of the two wars led by Emperor Trajan against Dacia, which had as a consequence the conquest of part of Dacia and its transformation in a Roman imperial province for more than 160 years. On the column we have the image of the Dacians in flesh and bone, which is quite rare for other peoples living north of the Roman borders that time. We have precious information regarding the style of their clothes and some images of the landscape of Dacia in that time. Quite likely the Romans were struck by the high and mountains from this part of the war, because the Dacians and the core of their kingdom was located in the mountains of Transylvania, and their capital, Salmisegetuza Regia, was built at an altitude of more than 1,000 meters, which is also an exception during the ancient times. Of course, we have a precious witness about the Roman military organization and the Roman imperial ideology, because the Column of Trajan is emphasizing the exceptional position of the emperor, and he is always rendered higher than any other mortal. But also the Dacian king, Decebalus, is presented following the same convention, so he is also higher than any other Dacian rendered on the column.
The copy of Trajan's column in Romania has a very interesting story, because since 1867 the newly established state of Romania wanted to have such a copy, so a lot of public projects were presented in order to fulfill this aim. The creation of the copy lasted from 1939 to 1943, and due to the Second World War and the permanent threat of bombings and destruction, the Romanian state paid an important amount of money to the Vatican for the copy of the column to be kept safely in the Vatican cellars. In the 70s, the replica of the column was finally brought back to Bucharest and displayed in a new wing of the museum, especially built to host this masterpiece.
We know that the column was completely painted. The surface of the column was painted in very vivid colors: strong red, green, blue, yellow, brown, black. And the soldiers hold in their hands miniature weapons. Also, we know that the column was used not only to glorify the military achievement of the Emperor Trajan, but also it was used as his tomb after his death. Trajan was proclaimed God, and his golden urn with his ashes were led inside the small cell or chamber at the base of the column. We know that the height of the column is the height of the hill, which was excavated and removed by the Roman constructors to open the public place, the Forum of Trajan, because when the emperor ordered to have a new forum, the place was not free. It was actually covered by a hill. And the height of the hill was 40 meters. That is the same height as the height of the column.
Can we say that, for example, the building of the column was a sort of celebration because Trajan was able to win the two wars against the Dacians? Dacia at that time being a very, very resourceful territory, and it meant a big deal for the Roman Empire, especially the gold in the gold mines in Dacia.
Yes, quite likely. It's a celebration of one of the major military achievements of ancient times. Because Dacia was not conquered by any other king or emperor before Trajan. He considered that his exploit, his achievements, military achievements, were without any precedent. So he wished to have a special monument to emphasize his victory against the Dacians.
The Column of Trajan, the public libraries, and other important constructions in Rome were financed with the gold and silver brought from Dacia, and also all the Roman soldiers and their families received important amounts of money after the war against the Dacians. In all the empire, people were tax exempted for several years in order to increase the nativity.
The National Museum of History proudly hosts a permanent exhibition regarding the national treasure. The national treasury that is part of the Romanian patrimony. I would like to know, what can visitors see in this particular chamber, in this exhibit?
Visiting the permanent exhibition of the historical treasure, the visitor has opportunity to travel along the Romanian history, along 6,000 years of Romanian history, through precious items made in gold, silver, platinum, precious stones. And it's quite difficult to say which are the most important, but quite likely some of the items on display are exceptional. Among these pieces, I would like to mention a large Neolithic idol representing the goddess of the earth, the mother goddess, the goddess of fertility. A huge objects made in large gold nugget, weighing today 750 grams, and beautifully crafted. It's so modern that many visitors could not believe that it was made 6,500 years ago. We have several sets of gold weapons from Bronze Age, crowns and throne decorations from Bronze Age, ceremonial vessels made in gold used for performing religious sacrifices. We have a lot of Dacian gold and silver helmets, Dacian royal gold bracelets. In our collection, we are preserving the Romanian iron crown of the kings made from Turkish cannon, actually German cannons, captured during the War of Independence from 1877-1878. And the royal jewels and insignia used for the coronation in 1922 when King Ferdinand I and Queen Mary were crowned in Alba Iulia as King and Queen of all Romanians. And a lot of beautiful jewels from early 20th century made in platinum with large precious stones, emeralds, rubies, diamonds, pearls, which are part of the most exclusive examples of the art of jewels from these times.
When it comes to the jewels presented in the National Treasury here at the History Museum, besides the royal crowns that we know come from the cannons used during the Independence War in 1877 and afterwards, are there any other jewels, royal or princely jewels, that have particular stories or maybe legends or love stories connected to them?
Yes, of course. Maybe the most interesting is the gold crown ordered by Queen Mary of Romania. It's a beautiful Art Nouveau style crown, and it was designed by Costin Petrescu, an artist who realized also the fresco from the Romanian Athenaeum, and by the Queen herself. It was a kind of co-production between two artists because Queen Mary was a very gifted person and she was producing beautiful watercolors, and she designed furniture. She was in a very personal style. Of course, in our museum, we are still keeping gilt silver cassette in which Queen Mary ordered to keep her heart after her death. She died in 1938, and in her last will, she asked that her heart had to be kept in her favorite castle in Balcic, nowadays in Bulgaria, in a silver cassette. In two silver, a silver box and a silver cassette. And the museum has the silver cassette decorated with precious stones, which was presented to then Princess of Romania, Mary, by the ladies of Bucharest in 1893 when she married Ferdinand, the future heir of the throne of Romania.
We have to say that it is a royal custom, or at least it used to be back in the days, to have the heart taken out from a king or a queen, and the heart was preserved. And this is how, after almost a century, the heart of Queen Marie came back home in Romania, and now it's hosted at the Pelișor Castle, one of her favorite castles, actually.
Yes, that's true. In 18th, 19th century, and a bit later, a lot of sovereigns of European kingdoms ordered that their heart have to be kept outside the tomb in beloved places. and Queen Mary was one of them. Actually, she is the only one from the Romanian royal family who ordered to have her heart put in another place than the general resting place. Yes, in the story of the heart of Queen Mary, it's a quite troubled one, like our history the last 80 years. It was let down in Baltic, but in September 1940, under the pressure of Germany and Soviet Union, Romania had to return the southern part of the Dobruja to Bulgaria, and on that occasion the heart was brought back in Romania and kept in Bran Castle, which was another beloved place of Queen Mary. It was kept in a small chapel until the communists took the power in Romania, and the heart was kept for many, many years in the safe of the director of the museum in Bran. In 1970, the heart was sent to the National History Museum, and we were the custodians of this heart until the last September, when finally we reached an agreement with the Romanian Royal House, and the heart was sent in Sinaia to be kept in the Perisher Castle, in the same room in which Queen passed away in 1938.
The museum also hosts a temporary exhibition dedicated to Romania's participation in World War I. Romania, with her large steppes and oil fields, was one of the most productive countries in Eastern Europe at that time. The Allies hoped to gain her support and the grain and oil by naval victories and promises of territory. However, Romania remained neutral, despite allowing German and Austrian supplies to pass through her territory on the way to Turkey and Bulgaria. During a royal council in August 1914, the king and the members of the government decided to keep the neutrality of Romania. However, this status quo could not be kept for long due to the development of the events in the European battlefields, so Romania also enters the big war in August 1916. By the end of the war in 1918, Romania managed to regain Transylvania and Bessarabia, and on the 1st of December 1918, all the historical principalities were united under the Great Romania, King Ferdinand I being the first sovereign to achieve the unification. The museum walks you through all the major military campaigns during the war, helping you to meet all the Romanian war heroes and admire Queen Mary's devotion and dedication to the Romanian soldiers wounded during the war. As president of the Red Cross, the Queen went on the battlefields and also visited the soldiers in the campaign hospitals, providing them comfort and medical care.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you have enjoyed traveling through history with me today and discover all the beautiful stories, the bravery of the Romanian people, and the breathtaking beauty of the jewels composing the national treasury. And I can assure you that by visiting this museum, you will definitely feel like Aladdin in the Cave of Wonders. So, until next time, remember to make your life a beautiful story.